So here we're going to be responding to Wolfman's very intriguing video on one of the images released, which shows apparently Michael killing a woman and killing her brutally. And I think he did some good detective work. And these are theories other people have had. He's proposed his own theories. And I think we're converging that Nick Castle will have a double role in the film. For those completely new, Nick Castle is essentially the Michael Myers we see in the first film. He's the physical actor, though the face of Michael was given to Tony Moran. It's a little complicated, but basically Nick did the physical acting for Michael. So he's tied to the Michael Myers role. And they've been doing a lot of meta things in this trilogy. So I think Wolfman did do some good detective work, and I think he's on secure ground, but I think they may be going for something even more crazy or radical and extreme. But let's hear him out in his theory.
100% guaranteed, but there are potential rumours that one of the copycats, if not the only copycat in the movie, is actually played by Nick Castle. So when you look at this image, he looks to be the same kind of build as Nick Castle would possibly be. And if you zoom into the hand is not of someone like Corey Cunningham. The hand looks too old to be Corey, but it also, no offense to Nick Castle, no offense to Nick Castle, doesn't look like the hand of James Jude Courtney. It looks like an older, more fuller gentleman, and I think that could be Nick Castle. And you might be thinking, well, Nick Castle does play the shape, so that's not an issue. Well, yes, it is, because it's James Jude Courtney that plays the shape. Nick Castle only does cameos for the movie. I don't think he's going to be doing a all-out kill in Halloween Ends. So what does that kind of mean? Well, we do hear that Nick Castle is going to have a cameo with his face shown in the film as well. I think, and some people have said this as well, and again, it's just potential rumours, that Nick Castle might be playing Corey's dad. And for what Corey has supposed to have done, his dad, played by Nick Castle, possibly, is maybe going out to show that maybe he was the copycat killer, even though he wasn't. He's just trying to clear his son's name.
Okay, so the implication is looking at the hands and just making some good inferences. This should be Nick Castle. And if Nick Castle is Corey's father, then presumably Nick Castle will play Corey's father, and Corey's father will kill several people, basically to distract people from Corey. Because again, Corey seems to be innocent. Part of the story is he is being framed for, again, killing a small child. Now, he may be guilty of doing copycat killings, but he's innocent in terms of killing, quote, the child. And presumably, Corey's father just went crazy or just went over the edge or just trying to protect his son. So I think we're on pretty strong ground going there. So I think Wolfman's first theory is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But then when we get to the second theory, saying the father would be willing to kill people, I think we're going to have problems. The most obvious problem would be that it makes sense that Corey's father would dress up as Michael, try to put the blame on Michael, and basically distract from the mob hysteria back onto Michael away from Corey. But why not just dress up as Michael, create some chaos, but not kill people? Why would you go to the extra step to kill someone? The only thing I can think of is Corey is being bullied. That's in the official synopsis. So we're going to see some bullies tormenting Corey. That's literally the plot. They've revealed that much. Presumably she is one of these bullies, or maybe the mother of one of these bullies, because again, that's a lot of cutting. This is really brutal. Again, it's a no-win situation. If you're going to dress up like Michael Myers, you're going to have to do things like Michael Myers. So if you kill someone, it can't just be a clean kill. It would have to be pretty brutal. I guess it makes sense. He has to go all the way, otherwise people won't be convinced. But I still think there's a gap in the explanation. But I do think Nick Castle will play Corey's father, but I think they're going to add a special twist that may explain this image, if this is Nick Castle, as well as some other things. But it will create a lot of problems. Now, I've already explored this in other videos, so apologies. I'm going to have to be really condensed to fit this all in one video, because even with a long video, it could get really complicated really fast. But essentially, one of the early ideas they had for Halloween Ends was to retcon the events of Halloween 2018. And there seems to be confirmation they will do some flashback scenes. We see that in the trailer. We see flashbacks to the first film and some other earlier events. So they were thinking of actually implying that Michael was killed in 2018 and there was already a copycat in 2018. A lot of people have resisted me on this. I mean, I'm not saying it was a good idea. I'm just saying that's one of the ideas they explored. How does this tie into Nick Castle? Well, I don't think this is too hard. It could get really crazy and stupid. There are different ways to do it, but here's one way. So let's say, in terms of the ending, again, spoiler warning, we have Michael at the end. We have the Laurie Michael confrontation with Allison. They're basically destroying Michael. They're killing him. They're really hurting him physically. They're just decimating the body. So either they don't unmask Michael. So is this really Nick Castle, quote, the fictional person, not the actor, but is the fictional Nick Castle, Corey's father, really dead, or is it someone else? We don't know. But let's say they do unmask him and we do see Nick Castle. Again, the twist could be it's not Nick Castle. Nick Castle has played Michael for a while, but it's someone else. And they're like, wait, this is going to create a plot hole. So how do you explain where Michael has been the whole time? Well, one possibility is the real Michael wasn't directly part of these events. It could be after the events of 2018 or during the events of 2018, he took more of a backseat. And just out of sheer coincidence, there was already a copycat killer, and they were about to strike, and Michael has basically been in the shadows. Maybe he did a few things, maybe he didn't. He was more observing things. So he was kind of there, but he was kind of not there. That still sounds a little silly, right? Because we have the scenes where his fingers got shot off. How do you explain that? Well, I don't think this is too hard. I think this is, again, stupid, but one way out of this is, of course, to imply there is a kind of physical double of Michael. And that does happen in real life, right? You can encounter people who look very close to you, almost identical to you, but you're not family members. So they could go down several routes. One, they could imply Michael always had a twin brother, right? We don't know the whole family tree of the Michael Myers family. Now, in the canon and the other sequels, the Myers parents are dead. But in one of the early versions for Halloween Ends, we do see whether the wife or the husband, I don't know, Michael Myers' mother or Michael Myers' father, they appear. So that doesn't work with the old canon, but with this new canon, we don't really know what happened to the Myers family. So it could be there is a twin brother of Michael we'd never heard about who is his physical double, and for whatever reason, he decided to intervene into these events. Another possibility is he does have, again, this physical doppelganger, someone who looks almost identical to him, but they're not related to one another. And for whatever reason, they've decided to become copycat killer from 2018. So we could really see Michael Myers at the very, very end, and he's walking along, and he's just walking, and you're like, wait, I thought he just got killed. How does this work? That's Nick Castle. So I think they're going to imply that a version of Michael Myers got killed. The threatening version who did kill people, he's dead. So they did kill a real threat, and they got rid of, quote, the Michael Myers for all intents and purposes. But the shape is living on, and he still has, quote, the body of Nick Castle. But you wonder, how could that happen? Well, again, there are scenes where we don't know everything that happened. We don't know the whole family tree of the Michael Myers family. So they could imply that there just was another Michael out there, even before Halloween Ends. We just didn't see that person, or we didn't know about that person, but they were always there. A couple of different ways to frame that. And that way you can have this kind of meta trick where you've been looking at two Nick Castles. The Nick Castle who is Corey's father, and the Nick Castle who is literally Michael Myers, because that's who he is. That's who he's been since the 1978 film. Now, I don't think they'll go anywhere close to that kind of radical idea, but I do think they probably shot things that are very close to that, and they're going to imply something like that we've had multiple Michael Myers. Not copycat killers, but literally multiple Michael Myers. And technically speaking, because they're only working with the first film, we just don't know. We don't know. Did Michael have a twin brother? Does he have people who look exactly like him? Have they been around Haddonfield? Again, there are complications. Why wouldn't Sartain know about this? Wouldn't he be aware of these things? But again, there's a lot of events or things about Sartain or the Michael Myers family or Nick Castle, the fictional Nick Castle, not the real actor. We just don't know. So they could be taking advantage of that ambiguity and stick in a kind of extra Michael Myers, and that will be the shape. So you can kill, quote, Michael Myers, who was doing all this damage, but still leave the Michael Myers, who is the shape, who is Nick Castle, and let him live, and he will be there at the end. I don't know if this is a good idea, but they have definitely implied it's going to be a very twisty meta ending. So I think they'll go further. Yes, he will probably be Corey's father, but I'm guessing they're going to really do something extreme and say, He's also been Michael Myers, but not the Michael Myers we think we've seen, but a different kind of Michael Myers.